Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we have our 100th Cup Series career start coming to you at Michigan International Speedway, so very excited for that, as well as we have the Truck Series and Xfinity Series. But first, we have a paint scheme reveal for the new team coming to the Cup Series in the career mode next season of Kaulig Racing. First scheme here is the Nutrient paint scheme made by Lation, as you guys can follow him on Twitter at that Twitter handle right there, but an incredible primary scheme. But there's also a secondary scheme that you will see on his car. Here's a template of it. This one was made by a community member of ours at Vixen. I'll put his Twitter on the screen as well at this point in the video. So those are the two schemes you're going to see on the 16 car next season. Would love to hear you guys' thoughts on it. I think they both look great. Cannot wait to see those on track, as I can confirm. I haven't actually really said it yet, but the 16 team or car is going to replace the 00. So the Starcom Racing team is going to be gone next season in the career mode. So we come through now to the race weekend. We start things off with the Truck Series here at the Eldora Dirt Derby, which is also the last race of the regular season, surprisingly, here in the Truck Series. We had subscriber Mark Aguirre in the truck for us here in Eldora. Started just outside of the top 10. He got to the bottom right away and started making up a bunch of ground right off the bat here as he came through to turn 2, going down towards turn 3. Just using that bottom lane. Obviously, you know, in real life you see a lot of drivers use it outside up towards the wall at Eldora, but it just doesn't really work in NASCAR heat, so you always get right down to the bottom here and just try to make up the ground. And he was making up a ton of ground. He was up to P3 after just a couple laps after starting outside of the top 10, so he came through to the inside of the 15, made a pass for second place, and he ran down the 00 of Angela Rutch, and he would be able to make a pass on her as well as he came through at a turn 2. They would be side by side actually for the lead down the back straightaway into turns 3, but sure enough he would take the lead here as he came through the center of 3 and 4. So Mark Aguirre just drove away here. 6 wins currently on the season for us in the Truck Series, and now we were on the final lap here in the Eldora Dirt Derby, about to make a 7 wins to finish off the regular season as Mark Aguirre comes through the center of 3 and 4, and sure enough, out of turns 4, win number 7 on the season here for our truck team. So the incredible season continues as we absolutely dominated the regular season here in the Truck Series, and just could not ask for really any better of a regular season, as this is going to set us up very well for the playoffs, which I'll show you guys the Truck Series playoff grid at the end of this episode. Now as we though come through into the Xfinity Series side of things, where we actually had 2 Xfinity races, and I sim both of them. Justin Allgaier won the first one at Iowa, which would be his first win of the season. Coming into this race, he was actually outside of the playoffs, so this puts him in alongside his rookie teammate of Sam Mayer in that number 9 car. So the 2 JRM drivers are now inside the playoff. Daniel Hemmer currently on the outside looking in, but then we came through to the next one at Road America. Sam Mayer picked up his 2nd win of his rookie season at the road course. Haley Deegan, Kevin Magnuson, Justin Haley, Sheldon Creed all up inside the top 10. Derek Kraus actually outside of the top 10 in this one there, as you see towards the very bottom. Riley Herbst actually finished in last place. But now we come through into the Cup Series weekend. Just 4 races remain in the regular season here on the Cup Series side of things, and the playoff grid continues to just get even closer and closer. And today, like I already mentioned, is a big milestone for our Cup Series career, our 100th Cup Series start. So very excited to hopefully have a good run here today in Michigan. The goal in qualifying was to hit a 38.524. Usually we don't really exceed the goal in Michigan, so I didn't expect much of a good lap here. So we came through now out of turns 4 down this front straightaway, and you can already tell we were going to be a bit of a ways off the goal, almost a full second there, as we hit a 39.107, and we qualify P18 for the Consumers Energy 400 here at Michigan International Speedway. So not the best qualifying effort in the world, but definitely know we'll have some better speed in the races. Alex Bowman down in P29, a driver that's in need of some very good runs, finds himself in a rough qualifying effort now as we see the top 10. And on pole we got William Byron in the 88 car alongside Matt Benedetto here as we get ready to go green. Alright boys, the last time we came here we had a DNF, so hopefully that doesn't happen today. It would kind of be a shame for my 100th start, but hopefully we can come out of here with a good finish. There you heard myself on the radio, and if you do remember, last time we came to this racetrack we had our first DNF of the season in Michigan. So hopefully we do not have a repeat of that today. I remember we went through turns 2 and got on the apron and just lost the car, and then we slid up the track into Kyle Busch and hit the outside wall, and then sure enough, that was the end of our race. Basically, Keselowski and Hamlin sent to the back. Keselowski failed optical scanning station, and then Hamlin failed pre-race inspection. So we get ready though to go green here. Now on the inside line here behind the 8 of Tyler Reddick, one of our playoff contenders. When we get there now, the green flag is out, and we are underway here for the Consumers Energy 400 at Michigan International Speedway here from the 17th starting position as William Byron, Matt DiBenedetto lead the field to the green flag. Ryan Blaney on row number 2 in P3, another driver that's in an interesting position where he's in need of a very good run to get himself inside the playoffs now, as we have our arrival of Joey Logano just in front of us now through the center of 1 and 2. The main goal for myself here in the final 4 races or so of the regular season is to just stay away from that 22 of Joey Logano and just do everything we can to keep him now just level-headed and get him to being away from a rival and just back to normal with us, because we do not want a rival going into the playoffs. We had Logano as a rival last season in the playoffs, and we really didn't feel much of an effect from it, but this season has been so different with Joey as a rival, and I feel like it'll continue into the playoffs. So the main goal is to just give him as much room as he needs. So you're going to see me play it a bit cautious here throughout the races here going up to the playoffs, just to make sure we can try to keep Joey away from being one of our rivals in the playoffs. Now as we come through down this back straightaway, it was just a full-on pack race here on the first couple laps now as we were going 3 by 3 here. As you see the 2 McLarens in the middle of Smith and Jones. Smith in a must-win to get into the playoffs. Jones has won last time we came to this track. He picked up his first win of the season. He is inside the playoffs now as we pass at number 20 of Christopher Bell, another driver in a must-win scenario. Just like behind us, Chris Buescher, same situation for him as well now as we go up the inside of Daniel Suarez, who has a win. Bubba Wallace in that number 23, currently over 40 points below the cut line, but still with 4 races left in the regular season, you can definitely make up 40 or so points. Now, it won't be easy, but it's definitely possible for that 23-11 driver now. As we came through, though, on lap 4 out of turns 4, we just kind of followed Joey Logano, moving our way forwards on this inside line. We had now moved up towards a top 10 position as we were still 3 wide. I make a move up the inside of the 22, but when we get to the line, I realize I don't have enough momentum to clear Joey by turns 1, so I actually back out of it to make sure he cannot squeeze me towards that apron and cause an incident. But Logano's teammate of Ryan Blaney was holding up a lot of drivers, so everybody would eventually get by him. Logano actually got away from us now as we came through on lap 6. Chase Elliott found himself out front. Elliott has been really picking it up lately with that 9 team, our teammate of course now, as he's got 3 wins on the season, most recently last episode at New Hampshire when he got the best of us now, as I just had too much of a loose car at the end of that race, and then he of course got us in a photo finish as well at Indianapolis for the Brickyard 400. So myself and Elliott both have had 2 scraps for a win this season against each other, and Elliott has now come out on top both times. So that was it's something we don't want to have a repeat of here in the future. Hopefully we can be the one getting the best of him in the coming races, especially when we get to playoff time now. But we were now up inside the top 10 here later in this first stage as we came to turn 2. Noah Gragson, Cole Custer side by side just behind us, both drivers trying to point their way into the playoffs now as we're right on the back of Chris Buescher, who's having a solid run here today. As we go into turn 3 though, we get up the inside of him and we easily passes 17. Absolutely no fight whatsoever from him. But then we came through on lap 8 out of turn 2. Gregson had now gotten up my inside, and by the time we got to turn 3, he would be able to clear me for that position. So we came through now to lap 10, and we were both running down Truex. Gregson passed Truex out of turn 2. I unfortunately couldn't complete the pass and couldn't really do anything with Truex as we came through now to the final lap of this first and opening stage, where Chase Elliott still leads the way as he had driven away from the field and just breezing his way to a stage victory as we're up the inside of the 19 through the center of 1 and 2, clipping the apron just a little bit now as we're going to be side by side on the exit of the corner, but he does have some momentum, which means we need to use that side draft here down the back straightaway. Right on that quarter panel, but couldn't quite do it in time, and now Truex clears myself as we go down into turns 3, but we lunge up the inside as he goes all the way to the top by the wall, and it makes it easy for myself here as we're going to clear the 19 of Truex on the exit of turns 4. Gregson up ahead of us past Briscoe as well as Joey Logano, and we come through to cross the line here with the top 10 in this first stage here for P7. So a solid first stage considering where we started at P17 with one of those drivers being sent to the back due to inspection issues and whatnot. So overall, a solid stage as Chris Buescher rounds out the top 10. So of course we would come into the pit lane here for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 fresh tires. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with the adjustments, but I decided to just loosen it up just a little bit on the wedge. I put it down to 49.8. Now as you see the rest of the order, Alex Bowman not having a very good stage 1, so he's going to really find himself in trouble here as we gain 1 spot on the pit lane. Joey Logano lost 2 spots. Briscoe gained a spot. He's up to P5 now as we get ready to go green here for the start of stage 2 with Elliott and Byron on the front row and Kyle Busch Gregson row 2, myself Briscoe row 3, and for the start of stage 2, of course, we are going to go through into the AMP segment. There you had the amped segment. Now as we got going for that restart in stage 2, now we have the live playoff grid from the end of stage 1. You're seeing pretty much 13th through like 19th or something like that, or 20th. Now as you can see what is currently happening right now as of the end of stage 1. So right now Noah Gragson with a solid stage 1 is 1 point below the cut line. Briscoe is 1 point above. Larson 2 above, Cindric 14, Keselowski 46, but then we got Gregson on down, of course, below the cut line. Custer 14, the 48 of Bowman 22 below the cut line now, and then the 12 of Blaney 26, and then the 23 of Bubba Wallace nearly 50 points below the cut line at the end of stage 1. So Bubba Wallace really going to need to pick it up if he wants to keep his hopes alive. There's Edward Clear, the 41 of Cole Custer on the exit of turns 4, and we're doing everything we can, of course, to try and help out our teammate of Alex Bowman get into the playoffs now. As he's had an up and down season, he's had multiple DNFs that were none of his doing, of course, just mechanical issues with the car, and that's really been his biggest setback this season here in the career mode, I think, now as we came through, getting passed actually by the McLaren of Eric Jones, who's trying to work his way towards the front of the field and trying to repeat here his win earlier this season at the first Michigan race. But we just kind of chill behind Eric now as we came through the turns 4 now on lap 6, but then the caution would actually come out here about halfway through stage 2, and nobody was coming to the pit lane here, so everybody would just stay out and get ready to go back green now, as we actually have Ross Chastain who brought out the caution. So unfortunate for him, he was already in a must-win situation anyways to try and make the playoffs. So we get ready to go green here from P9 right behind our affiliate teammate of William Byron now as we get ready to take the green flag. Byron side by side with Eric Jones, and I myself in side by side with the number 43 of Eric Almirola, who runs in that 10th position. Just 3 laps remaining here in stage 2 on this restart. Behind us we got the 41 of Custer, who's in desperate need of any stage point he can get now, so you definitely watch for him to be aggressive now as Chase Elliott has won stage 1 by a breeze. He cruised to stage 1 victory, and now here he is looking to pick up the second stage victory as well. As we came through though, now through turns 3 and out of turns 4, approaching just 2 laps to go, we had now gotten past the 14 of Briscoe, who went all the way up to the outside wall now as we came through down this front straight. We're going to make it 3 wide with Byron and Logano as we cross the line, now trying to move our way towards a potential top 5 here before the second stage comes to a close. Now as Elliott leads over our affiliate teammate of Noah Gragson as we go down into turns 1 and 2. Now as Logano tries to stay 3 wide on the outside, but he gets cleared by the 88 of Byron, but I just have no momentum down this back straightaway, and that allows the 22 to get back alongside myself. So I was a bit concerned he was going to try and turn into me right here, but fortunately he goes all the way to the top as I send it back up the inside of the 88 of William Byron now as he came through out of turns 4 right on that quarter panel now as he's going to clear me though down the straightaway. Logano gets a huge run back to my outside as he's going to be ahead of me before we even get to the line to start the final lap here in stage 2. He clears me. Briscoe to the outside as well as we go go down into turns 1 as Chase Elliott leads over Gragson through the center of 1 and 2 here on this final lap of the second stage. Trying our best to get at least towards the top 5 now, but we just cannot carry that momentum on the exit of the corner like Logano and Briscoe are both doing right here now as we go down this back straightaway side by side, even with Briscoe, into turns 3 for this final time in stage 2. Chase Elliott has some pressure for the first time, I think, all race from that one of Noah Gragson, as Gragson looks to win his way into the playoffs and get that first career victory, but Elliott holds on for the stage 2 victory. As we come through to cross the line, we actually were able to get Briscoe at the line after he went to the high line in turns 3 and 4. Solid car, boys, but I honestly don't know what to do. I think it's just a speed issue because the car feels really good. It's not too loose, it's not too tight. It's a good balance right now. So yeah, hopefully we can use a draft maybe to work our way through the field, but that's really going to be our only hope. Now, you heard myself at the end of stage 2 over the radio. I thought about making some more adjustments to the car to see if we could just get something going, and it was a very small adjustment. It was just a little bit of a tire pressure adjustment on the right rear tire now as we would get ready to go green for the third and final stage here in the Consumers Energy 400 at Michigan International Speedway. We gained 1 spot on the pit lane, overtaking our rival of Joey Logano there in that number 22 Shell Pennzoil Mustang as we are underway for the start of the third and final stage here in Michigan. I did not show the live playoff points for the end of stage 2, but of course we'll see what it looks like at the end of this race, and then in the next race I should probably have it at the end of both stages. But Noah Gragson, I can confirm at least, is now above the cut line over Chase Briscoe, and then Briscoe actually was able to overtake Larson, so Briscoe remains in the playoffs as Larson has fallen out, but they're 3 wide behind us between Briscoe, the McLaren, as well as the 17 of Chris Buescher. Now as we go down this back straightaway, I have an opportunity to slide into the inside, but I actually didn't take it here as we went down into turn 3. Now as the 22 is going to make a 3 wide up the inside between Byron and Kyle Busch. Chase Elliott to the outside. He's going to give away the lead to the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. As you guys know, Truex in his final season of the career mode, he will be replaced by Harrison Burton at the end of the season, as I tried to make it get 3 wide at the end of lap 1. Couldn't quite make it work there as we go down into turns 1. And speaking of Harrison Burton in that 19 car, another subscriber of mine, Vixen, made a paint scheme for that 19 of Harrison Burton next season, so I'll unveil the paint scheme Harrison will be driving sometime soon here in the career mode. Now as we go down this back straightaway, another chance to potentially make a 3 wide into turn 3, but I just kind of held back here for a moment as we went down into the corner. Martin Truex Jr. though out in front, and it was honestly creating a 7-car pack because Truex definitely didn't have the fastest car in the pack, so we were all just kind of getting stuck behind him here, and I felt like out of this pack I was probably the slowest, so I was just trying my best to hang on here as we go down into turns 1. Elliott drops all the way down into the 6th position, and we know that him and Gragson probably have the fastest cars here today in Michigan, so if Gragson can find a way to the lead, this could be a possible escape from him, and Elliott would still have to work his way through traffic. Now as we came through though to lap 37, just 14 laps to go here in Michigan, 11 laps of fuel in the car. Obviously we will have to come to the pit lane before this race comes to an end. Now as Logano though would go to the inside of Martin Truex Jr., take the lead from him, but then Kyle Busch, who was down here in P5 in just a matter of moments, would find his way through the field actually and be able to get himself towards the front here as we came through on lap 39. Logano went from the lead to 6th, Kyle Busch went from 5th to 1st, so now I would get to the inside of Logano on the exit of turn 2, a little bit looser on the exit of the corner. I turned it definitely a lot more than usual to make sure I did not go anywhere near that quarter panel of the 22 of Logano and kind of hurt myself. Now as we go down into turn 3 though, Logano goes all the way to the top, leaves the door wide open for myself here through the center of 3 and 4 to clear the 22. So Kyle Busch out front in front of his teammate of Martin Truex Jr. Now as Gragson and Elliott battle it out for third place as I looked to the inside here of the 88 of William Byron. Now as we have Hendrick cars and Hendrick affiliated cars running from 3rd through 6th right now as we go down into turns 1, and then of course we got JGR leading the way in 1 and 2, and then Logano down there in the Penske car behind us in that 7th position. Now as we clear the 88 of Byron, so we cleared Logano, we cleared Byron, and now we close in on the back of Chase Elliott, who was on the inside of Gragson, and I was just trying to follow through here. I was just really just using Elliott as my kind of guide and showing off through turns 1 and 2. I would be able to clear the 1 of Gragson and then get up the inside of Martin Truex Jr. on the exit of turn 2. Now just 10 laps to go here in Michigan, and in our 100th Cup Series career start, the chances of a win, which looked very unlikely, now become even more likely, because as we go down into turns 3, we will clear the 19 and move up now into the 3rd position, and both myself and Chase Elliott would run down Kyle Busch here for that front position within the next lap or two now as we came through out of turns 4. There you saw Gregson. He was actually up the inside of Truex, and sure enough, he would pass him as well. So we come through to lap 44 out of turn 2, right to the back of the 9, who was close to the back now of the 18 for the lead. But there was only 3 laps of fuel left in the car now as I give a big push to the back of the 9, and sure enough, into turn 3, Elliott hops on that opportunity, lunges up the inside of the 18 of Kyle Busch there through the center of 3 and 4, and now he is going to go through to take the lead from Kyle Busch on the exit of the corner within the final handful of laps of this race. Now as I would get up the inside of Kyle Busch on the very next lap, down the back straightaway into turn 3, trying to follow Chase, and honestly felt like I had speed capable of passing that 9 car for the potential victory, but sure enough, the tire and fuel light came on about the same time. So out of turns 4 now on lap 46, I decided we were going to come into the pit lane here as we closed in towards the back of the 9, who actually is pitting as well, but he really slows down, actually run into the back of the 9, and then the 18 overtakes Chase as well because he was going so slow for some reason. Caught me way off guard. We had damage, so we came in, put 2 tires on the car, but now I decided we were going to fix that damage. It was only 1 second worth of damage, so I felt like we could get away with it. But you see here, Noah Gragson, Kyle Busch get everybody off of the pit lane. I don't know what they did. Maybe they only took fuel and no tires at all because they destroyed myself, Elliott, Logano, and everybody else. So we came through to turn 2, and now Elliott gets up my inside. Logano gets to the back of me. I was much slower than these guys for some reason, so Logano gives me a huge push as we go down into turn 3, and just like that, I was like, well, there you have it. Our rivalry is going to be just reignited, and we have to basically go from square one again and trying to get Joey away from being a rival. But he was all over the back of me, but we would just stick with Chase in the draft. Now as we came through to just 3 laps to go in this race, now approaching 2 laps to go here, Chase had actually opened up the gap between himself and I as we go down into turns 1. Kyle Busch had taken the lead from Noah Gragson here as we go down into the corner. I kind of missed the bottom there. That left the door open for Joey to get up my inside on the exit of turn 2, and now he runs into the side of us a little bit down the back straightaway, clears us as we approach the final lap in this race here for the Consumers Energy 400 in Michigan as we go down into turns 3. Elliott to the top, Logano here on the bottom as Kyle Busch tries to hold off Noah Gragson on the exit of turns 4, coming to the white flag. Now as the 22 hits the brakes, he's coming into the pit lane. I had no time to react. I slam into the back of him, damage the car. The caution comes out just as the leaders cross the line. Race over in Michigan. Out of nowhere, the 22 decides to come into the pit lane, and I believe that was the caution, which is very odd because no one actually crashed, but I'm assuming they just saw I slammed into a car and brought out the caution. So all of a sudden the race is over. We get P4. Kyle Busch with the victory over Noah Gragson. Elliott P3. Larson actually was able to get a 12th place finish out of it, and Logano saves a top 10 after I run into the back of him. So definitely not any good for our rivalry, to say the least, as I just pile drove the 1-2 in the pack now, as Timmy Hill would end up being at the very bottom as him and Ryan Preece DNF'd. Ryan Blaney actually got messed over by the pit cycle. He was down in P38, so you're going to see the effect it had on the playoff grid, but a very interesting way to end our 100th career race, to say the least, here in Michigan. But there we have the playoff grids on your screen now after the race. So that's the Truck Series playoff grid. We will be starting the Truck Series playoffs here whenever we actually have another truck race. So our team is 36 points above the cut line on the Xfinity side of things. Daniel Hemrick is 11 points below getting into the playoffs. Clemens 15. Justin Haley is actually out 35 points. LeBay 36 and Anthony Alfredo 39. So now we come through to check out the Cup Series playoff grid to see what effect that race had. And next up, we got Watkins Glen, one of my favorite tracks on the schedule. But Kyle Larson is below the cut line. He's been on just a downfall here lately, and now he finds himself 5 points below the cut line. Custer 16, Bowman 36, Blaney 55, Bubba Wallace 58. Gragson now above the cut line. Cindric is the last car in, with Briscoe being P15. So it's going to get interesting here in the coming races for sure now. So I really cannot wait to see what happens now with just the final 3 races of the regular season. But before we end this episode, just want to say a very quick thank you to the Go On Racing members of MJ, Aiden, James, Dylan, Joseph 9001, RJ, Timothy, Bubba Jr., Illinois Diecast, NASCAR on Docks, Devin Roth, Eric Chouette, as well as Matthias Hansen. You guys help me out a lot, as I say every episode, and I just want to say thank you, and thank you to everybody for taking the time out of the day to watch this episode. I really do appreciate it. In the next one, we go road course racing for the second time this season in the Cup Series, with 3 races left in the regular season, where hopefully things get even more crazy, because it's been a lot of fun to see that all go down now. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.